Welcome back to the martinliedtke channel. Another video here for you today. And we're going to be looking at happy hats of Tataria, actually the clothing of Tataria on the old world. I'm going to propose that old world clothes were actually an amazing technology for amplifying our natural chi energy and keeping us in well-being. Look how amazing these people's clothes are. So I'm going to go through a few images with you now of Tatarian and old world fashion. And interesting word, fashion, like fasces. And what you're going to find is a lot of happy hats. Unbelievable headwear in some of these pictures are quite mind-blowing. Now, what I've noticed, guys, is in modern day, nobody actually wears any hats anymore. Yet in the old world, and the Tatarians and the Victorians all wear hats. Look at this hat here with the like a church spire with a fleur-de-lis type affair. And all of these strange shape hats. Obviously, some of them with a purpose for cold weather, but and notice as well these fine silks that they wear. I can't imagine where these textiles are being produced, but they're fantastic. Oh, on the steps somewhere. And a lot of images of what looks like an onion dome are what you would see on a building on top of the head. Now, why would it be such a big space in here? No, it could be for cooling. You know, a lot of people in these pictures are from hot countries, and maybe if you could put ice in there, keep your brain cool, or just a space for air, for ventilation. There's an old world photograph. And what we find as well, the clothes are just out of this world, silks, and literally a fortune in jewels. Now, jewels, jewelry, crystals, they all are a source of technologies. You know, some of them can hold memory. Crystals, in fact, used to hold memory in your computer, and crowns as well, and feathers, ethers. Feathers, like the indigenous peoples who wear feathers, because feathers interact with the ether, the air. Also, what you're going to see a load of these onion dome hats. I don't know if they got funny shaped heads in there, and like large gold plates, but they're like coins, large coins. You're going to see a lot of them over the head as well, with a lot of these Tatarians. People from Asia and your world. And you see this sort of feathered array as well, with a lot of like Trojan helmets and stuff. And here are some Muscovites, I would say. But you see this, you know, let me just mag up on that. If I can get up a bit more. No, that's it. These headdresses, they are representative of an old world goddess. I would say Babylon. But they are, you know, a specific shape. You'll see a few of them as we go. They're a diamond shape or a pyramid shape. But the ermine, you can see ermine, that was used by kings, and the furs, and the unbelievable quality on everything. Here are some people from further east, indigenous peoples. I don't know what their frame of reference is for anything that they've got, but what I can see is this one's got antlers on, which I've been covering antlers in recent videos. I'm thinking that this may be, you know, an appendage to thought. What I mean by that is amplifying your mental processes. The reason I think this is because years ago, I used to wear a lot of hats. I still wear hats. There's two types of people, those that wear hats and those that don't, but I do like hats. And I used to say when I was younger, if people asked me why I wore a hat, I used to say because it helps me think. So that was even back then. I really do think that these look like antennas because they're doing a similar thing as like a television antenna, if you like, especially this, like a little aerial going on. These indigenous peoples. You can see these Tartars here and a Muscovite here, and you know they share, you know, they're just over the border from one another, but they share very similar as you can see, traits and clothes, etc. And I'm suspecting that this is a Tartar, but it looks more like an Ottoman with a Tartar wife. So why have she got this giant thing sticking in the air? Well, maybe it's something to do with electrostatics. She's got pearls on that. So maybe her hair is up there. I can't see it would flop down. Something's going on there. And him also has got this giant cone head hat. Why? Is it because he's got a massive cone head? Possibly. Possibly that is a lot of that going on. Or is it for keeping his head cool? Maybe they're putting some ice in there. Maybe it's the same with the top hats. Here is Muhammad the fourth from somewhere or another, but excuse me, an Ottoman. Let's have a look at his tatfa, his tit for tat hat. Oh my, he's got like a papal thing going on, covered in spikes and knobbly bits like you get on churches. And this is very much like a church spire. I've noticed there's a very similar trend with old world Tartarian hats, and he has a saber, scepter, which I also think is some sort of sceptered device. I find this an interesting picture for they're living in a rural surrounding. You can see in the background an old rustic house and that, but yet their clothes are fantastic silks. How the people been able to afford this, I don't even know. And these happy hats with the space again in the head must come to here, the rest is just empty space. But they look to be made of metal. Very interesting and very futuristic for such a rustic scene, I feel. Here is Haile Selassie. There's a picture on my wall. Haile Selassie sitting on his throne. Looks like he's gone completely mental on the Phoenician capitalism there, doesn't it? He's got even little Phoenician Cherubanuskis on his shoulders. He's gone absolutely bonkers on the whole thing. Um, but you can see that these long capes, I've long talked about capes, red capes, and Jesus got red capes, Superman got red cape, and red capes, and not only being a power, but form of technology. Maybe they treated these with scarab beetle stuff, and they give you, maglev technology. Who even knows? But the technology behind felting is interesting because they use mercury. And what if they used red mercury? There's plenty of ideas. So these are Welsh ladies from where I am. I live in Wales, which is a country in the west of Great Britain. It was all once Wales, but we were pushed to the mountains where we still are. And you see Cardiff Castle in the background, but they have top hats, and they're very much like witches' hats, just like the top hats of the elites in the Victorian era. Again, why the huge airspace? Maybe you can make some suggestions. This looks like it's doing exactly what I think it's doing, is catching the vital energies, yeah, and then it's coming through these into her head. And she looks really healthy, and absolutely, again, for this rustic scene in Tataria, she's got absolutely fantastically beautiful clothes on and really attractive. And this crazy antenna thing, which is similar to some Hopi Indians as well, on her head. Here is another noble with his jewels and his cape, possibly red, but a really unusual happy hat, which is neither a crown nor a knight's helmet, but definitely interacting with the ether, the fluid that we are in, and helping with mental thoughts, pulling information out of the water, which is our surrounding, and the interface, as I mentioned on one of my posts recently, the last post. These are Hopi, I believe. And as you can see, antennas. This may be based on on a a totem, scrotum totem. And this, which I find fascinating, on top of this is a fasces with labris, the axe that comes out of the side. How would they know about the labris and the fasces and wearing it on their head out there in wherever that is, New Mexico, maybe? Here's a group of Tartars, and they look fairly okay, cool people. Beautiful clothes on this Tartar lady. Looks like she's out of a hippie festival, but she's got the best stuff. So they wear beautiful clothes, very, very colourful. Not the men so much. He's got a like Joseph's hat of many colours, coat of many colours. He's he's doing a bit of a handshake. This one's got a woolly hat on because it's gets cold, I guess, out on the steppe. So another form of communication that this fella has got going on is long hair. A transmitter or an antenna for picking up signals. Now, the Rosicrucianists, as I'm sure a lot of you will know, very much thought that this was the case, that long hair, they all grew their hair infinitely long. Just like Samson in the Bible, and Delilah cuts his hair off, he loses his strength, only to know and understand that all his mind, and it was him doing it, and he got his strength back by the end. Awesome tale of telling you the truth about what this place is in Samson and Delilah. If you think it's going to work, it's going to work. But I really do think that this hair and beards even help. Now, eyebrows as well got a lot going on. There's something going on. I think it's more than just protecting your eyes from sweat, because my eyes get full of sweat, so it doesn't fully do that. I think there's some sort of like vacuum cleaner for dust particles or something electromagnetic going on with your eyebrows, which catches dust, I think. Check out this Tartar from the year of I576, 500-year-old, and he's got this crazy thing hanging on his head. One can only wonder. But one thing I do notice, guys, is with these Tartars in these images, they got these beautiful long silks on and these high happy hats. Well, when you see images of giants of Tataria or Hyperborean, they're always in the beautiful silks too. So we have a baby sham. He's got somebody following around with a mirror. Is it a mirror or is it a Skyping device? Again, with the red cape. You're going to see this a lot with their highnesses and the old baton or scepter or zapper, as I like to call them. So here are some Chinese Tartars. And as you can see, I wouldn't even like to say what is going on with these, with the wires coming out of them and flags. You can buy flags on eBay, which have special threads in them, which catch an electrostatic charge and generate electricity. There are flags that are doing it. They flap about and generate a charge. So I really do think with prayer flags as well, that the whole thing with flags and flapping in the ether, in the wind, is definitely a subtle technology. But look at these cables and wires, and all attaching to a head. Very robotic like, isn't it? Like an old world, highly technological science, subtle, but based on Tatarian natural sciences, as we know. Hair tech. Now, one thing they do with you in the modern society is, for example, if you go in a concentration camp, they cut your hair off. If you go into a prison, you cut your hair off. If you go into the army, they cut your hair off. Or any, establishment requires for you to have a haircut, unless you basically are not in it. You can have your hair long. And what you find is people in indigenous populations have their hair really, really long. And this guy, he's got his dreadlocks bound in like donuts and facing up into the ether, because he knows that he's just grabbing information out of the available information. I can't imagine there's too much water in these places, but there's enough. There's water everywhere to grab information, and it's going to help on so many factors of life, health and vitality. And these people, they live a long, long, long time, and they look healthy when they're old. They really do. These people in these old world photos, some of them, like, you wouldn't even, how old would you say these are? They could be in their 50s. You wouldn't even know. And here are some witches, and you can see very much the Welsh witches. It's like the Quakers hats as well. But again, an overly big space above the head with an air gap. And again, like the pyramid, similar technology, I think, to grab that electrical charge. We got a load of Ottomans here. Let's have a look at the Ottomans. Okay, well, the Ottoman chief is a whopper. If you look at the size of his hands compared to this man's hands, they're twice the size. The Ottoman chief there is a giant. But again, um, different shades of these people, but surely from the Ottoman Empire, but they do wear fine silks and colors, but with these really unusual, very large headwear, which is sort of angled, really unusual, like over elongated fezzes, if you like, but definitely a form of technology. I would say this is the closest to a fez. But yeah, the guy there is a definite giant. But if he stood up, he would tower over them. He's twice the size of them. More Welsh ladies, again, with the Quaker look, the Puritan look, which went to America with the Methodists and everything. Well, the Quakers, the Methodists, all of that stuff, all born here in what was puritanical Wales. Up until recent years, they were very religious in the valleys. They didn't even want the Sex Pistols playing because they said they were too sinful and came out in Caerphilly to try and stop it. Now, this is a giant, obviously, and he's from Muscovy. He's a Muscovite giant. And this guy here, oh, I've shown that, is Sulak. And this lady, she was a Tatarian princess in China, in whatever Burma is now called, Myanmar. She's got the craziest happy hat on ever. Look at this again with this pipe work, but it's not. It's braided hair, and braided hair is adhering to the torus here because it's bound like the shape of the torus in a spiral, which is the beautiful braiding, and then beads, jewels, and steel plates up into this thing here, and these as well. Everything I think on this clothing is a form of technology, I would say, and silk. Silk feels beautiful. Here's one of my favorite giants, this noble, very gentle faced giant of a Tatarian background with beautiful silks. Wherever did he buy them? How are they producing these beautiful textiles? It's incredible. Silk of the Silk Road. A Malayan exorcist with fowl in his mouth. So he has a chicken in his mouth and he's doing some sort of exorcism. But check out his happy hat. Feathers, maybe steel plates in his around his face. This is definitely amplifying something or other, the chi energy, I would say. Wow, look at that. 10 times the craziness right there. And this guy, he's wearing a bearskin, a busby. The British Army wear these as well. And they pass out. They're so hot, they just pass out. I'm not sure what to say about this. She's wearing surely this Tatarian type of clothing. Beautiful, actually, with some sort of chest plate that may be embroidered or crocheted. My mother used to do crochet, but what with the face? I don't know. Isn't she probably pretty? And this strange thing over the head as well, a bit like a Dutch headwear. Dutch national dress. So here's some Tartar ladies. And what you find with a lot of gypsies, Romanis, Tartars, you see a lot of these, they wear coins on their hats and coins of their belts. And this lady, she's just absolutely covered. How are they so covered in jewels? Maybe they were just cheaper back then. I don't know. Right. Let's have a look at this motley crew and what they got on. Right. She's standing on some sort of stilts. Maybe she was just really short. I don't know. It's made her a lot taller. I'm guessing they didn't do clothes irons back then because this is super duper creased, isn't it? What's she got in her hands? Oh, that's the belt with beads and chains and the happy hat, which is basically like a trumpet, isn't it? With all of this hanging down. Hmm. These Was supposed to be the last Tartars. They showed up in London. Apparently, they were doing like shows and stuff. But they're really interesting, and they got these chain mails with spikes on their face, sort of, and then little shields as well. Other that's worn as a style of fashion on a lot of these pictures, like little shields. But they use chainmail to block electromagnetics. You can actually order chainmail EMF blockers. He looks very unusual, that one. So they say they were the last Tartar warriors. Here is another Tartar queen. She's got this. That's the same one. But look at the headwear. Happy hats. And I'm calling them happy hats because I think that the benefits are obviously visually very beneficial because these people are having their best life. Look at the clothes on them and the items they have and the silks. And this lady looks just like a North American Indian, doesn't she? And she has a bone through her nose. Again, I don't know, maybe some sort of tech. The hair is definitely a technology though, but she has coins all the way down her head, all the way down her back, and the long, beautiful hair too of that North American, I would say, lady. Similar Tartar tech with the North Americans as there is with the Tartars, but they're only a small sea away. So here you can see in this Voyage of Tataria, I've covered this book numerous times, 1689 there. You can see a Tatarian lady with flowers in her hair. So really nice and holistic, I guess. Beautiful hair and the long silks. And this little fella here, he's offering her, looks like a box of money. So there's that. And here is a Muscovite of the late 1800s, but the quality of everything. Look at the curtains in the background, silk they look. But this is a colorized image, but the red, the newborn red. And here's a Tatarian couple here from Crimean Tartars. I would say that the Asian capital of Crimea, of Kiev, what do they call it in the modern day? It's an ancient Tatarian capital, I would say. Coins all across the head. And I would say that they were silver coins too, guys. They're not just keeping their wealth on their hats. They know this is a form of technology. And definitely the royals do too. Here is the Romanovs. Just blow that up a bit. And as you can see, Tsar Nicholas and the Tsarina, they have the most fantastical jewels. They have the Fabergé eggs. Look at this green, unbelievably priceless jewel, the size of it. Very unusual couple, I find. But they weren't to last. And the crowns, the coronas, big part of the whole narrative, the whole of this puzzle, the whole of this decode is the crown. And look at this lady. She's got a mixture of the coin, not too much on the jewels, but a little rough on the neck. And that looks like a little keyboard, but a wedge above her head. It's just not aesthetics, guys. It's not like, oh, that's a beautiful wedge on top of your head. Oh, thank you. I think it's a form of technology that they were all the old world completely understood, or at least the ones with a few quid had. And it's not practiced in the modern day because the clothes now are synthetic and nylon, draylon, you know the score. And in the old days, oh, flannel net sheets, guys. Yeah. Linen, beautiful linen and cotton. I can only wear cotton really on my skin. I can't wear any artificial stuff because it itches me and I just can't stand it. And it makes me hot and it makes me burn up. I just can't. I got to use natural materials, soft. Now you can see this happy heart here is like a giant pyramid, all decorated because she has a sort of chainmail, if you like, over the forehead. Now this could be to protect the pineal gland, or indeed to protect the whole cranium, or picking up, you know, energy and information from this antenna and straight into the cranium These people could have been infinitely smart. This could have sustained you, even why they don't eat. Why are they breatharians? No man, they have floats. They have clove technology. Completely kept them going. Same pyramid hat again. Look, and all of these, I suspect, are jewels and pearls, all with specific properties. Tartarian queen with the craziest headwear you've ever seen. Look at the beautiful stuff. Porcelain, the clock. And looks like shoes on her hands. Very unusual, that too. I've seen this a few times. This was an Amazonian giant lady. I've got a picture of her coming up very shortly, and she's supposed to be from the Amazon from Brazil, the Amazon. But she's got like the crescent. Is this because it's, I don't know, she's Moorish? We'll have a look at it very shortly. She's a whopping 8-footer. Oh, closer to actually 9. But she's got like breastplates and all of this beautiful clothing, the coins again, sun and a moon. So a lot of symbology with the great giant Amazon queen. That was in Leicester Square in the 1800s. Here from an old Renaissance painting. This chap here has got double gold earrings. I think earrings as well. I wear my earring myself to pay the ferryman, actually. But, that's just an old sailor's thing. It's what you think it is. He's got a crown on top of his possible turban and a little bit of handheld antiquitech, which I definitely think is antiquitech that is handheld. Right. So these remind me of, even though they're Tartars, they definitely remind me of Peruvians or Bolivians, with that Inca or that, like you see with the Peruvians, that wool that's made out of alpaca. It's a similar sort of style, isn't it? I think on the back, but the headwear very space age. Spikes here like horns. Again, I think it interacts with the ether. I think it's doing something. As crowns, all crowns are. The Pope has a fish crown, which looks like a bit of a bell end. See the fish heads. Oh, if you turn it on the side, it's a snake with the serpent's tongue coming out, which is more fitting for the Vatican, actually. The papal crown there with the keys, because they're keeping the keys. And all of these crowns, all different designations, I guess, for different monarchies, princes, and regal beings, because they named themselves that for blood type, whatever. And here's some ladies from Tatar China. They're wearing clogs like the Dutch. Maybe if they're in the Dutch East Indies, that would make perfect sense. But that same headwear, which is just like horns, really, isn't it? But all that, I bet, hair, maybe animal hair. But they don't run around on all fours. They have clogs on the end of their long arms. So make of that what you will. It's very confusing. I do not know. It's a very infinitely strange realm. And everybody in the Victorian era, women and gentlemen, wear hats. They wear a pretty bonnet, or they wear a hat like that. And the men, they all wear boaters or Panama hats or top hats. In China, Tatar Chinese, beautiful bird on top, ornamental, possibly, added technology, I think so. And these that are hanging off here, which look like they should be on electrical pylons or something. Yeah, maybe these are made of porcelain in here, or probably porcelain. These look like they could generate a charge, but they knew about the benefits of this fantastical clothing. They really did. You can see a crazy pope here with a crazy hat on being holographically projected in bygone era. I am actually not sure if that's what's happening, but it really does look like that they are projecting a giant pope in the bay in this image. But he's got a happy hat on. Not so happy for the pope. Here is the Tsarina. She's got a cheeky little smile on his face, and look at that. Now, this is made out of lace as well, and I've looked into the technology. I've covered it on this channel. The technology of making lace is unbelievable, and again, another technology with different chemicals, including mercury, included on all of this. This is collecting the subtle energies that are passing through it. It's drawing her down into her body. She's being revitalized by her clothes alone. We've all done it, haven't we, guys? We've say we're going out to maybe when we're younger, we're going to on a date or night clubbing or something, and we got some brand new clothes that we've just bought in town, and we're going to wear our brand new clothes on that Saturday night. We're looking in the mirror, we're thinking, man, I'm looking sharp. Yeah. You feel fantastic as you got new clothes on, don't you? Because clothes make you feel good. Yeah. I'm not sure about these ladies if that is heavy, but there's something else going on. These look like, I don't know, a really rudimentary space agey outfit, if you know what I mean. Like they've seen something really futuristic and imitated it. But these are coins, silver, I would say, and it's absolutely covering them. I can't even say what it would feel like because I haven't worn any of this clothing. But also wigs. Now we know about the wigs of the 1700s. They say it's because they had syphilis, but I think it's the case that they had radiation sickness and that they were losing their hair. And this is why they had lesions also. Actually, the symptoms they explain for the whitening of the skin and the losing of the hair is more synonymous with radiation than it is with syphilis. And this is happening right through history. We have found again, do they run round on all fours? Why have they got shoes on their feet, on their hands? But that's really fluffy, that bit at the top. I bet you'd want to rub your face in that, but that would be really weird, wouldn't it, if you rub your face in the hat? It's like, get off me, weirdo. Like, sorry, it's all really fluffy. So here's another Tartar lady with ribbons off of her hat. Again, so all of these subtle energies are going through there. I think it's definitely pulling it through into the body, and they're all doing it. Look at the silks, blue, pale blue. And again with a happy hat, and again covering the forehead with this. And I think that either draws her in and probably protects, just like I mentioned with the chainmail affair, which is probably gold. Here's another, another Muscovite noble person with the same jewel encrusted and covering the forehead. Happy hat. Again, unbelievable, aren't they? It's just, if you imagine the cost on this production, you just never see clothes like I've never in my life. Just give you some idea. Look at this as well, like snowdrops. Look at the size of that jewel, that jewel, that jewel. I wouldn't be surprised if these were all diamonds. Member of the Russian aristocracy is absolutely covered. Ermine, I think this is. And this turquoise blue color is one of my favorite colors. And silk, obviously silk. Just wow. I think that's a red cape behind her. And this is what they wore in their everyday life. It's just beautiful clothing, feeling fantastic. Got the happy hat on with all of the coins and the beads and the jewels. Absolutely fantastical. Everyone's feeling absolutely fab. She's painfully white, but that's because she's European. But I feel that she looks really healthy. The eyes are super duper clear. But really, rubies, emeralds, that size, the size of an eye, rubies. So infinitely rich. That is from 1905, that picture. Oh, excuse me. I missed a picture. Go back. There. Again, pure silk. I did have a silk shirt, which I actually lost. And I love the feel of velvet as well. There should be more velvet around. It'd be great if the world changed all this fashion to Tatarian style fashion. I'd be totally into Totally into that with the happy hats, loads of feathers going on. Oh yeah. All right, this is totally, you know, I don't know. I was going to say it's overboard, overkill with the happy hat, but it isn't, is it? She's totally killing it. And the coins, probably a fortune's worth of coins, the chains, aesthetics. Yeah, it looks trippy, but not that pretty. I'm thinking this is more in line with not just exhibiting your wealth, but as a technology. Propose it all as a technology. My God, the silks. Well, the world's just not like it anymore, that's for sure. She's got clogs on her hands. I don't know what to make of that. That's just nutty. So I wonder what they used for laundrettes. They didn't have, well, they did have laundrettes, but they didn't have like, washing powder and automatic washing machines. So how do they keep all of this clean, I wonder? So pristine. And gold. I suspect that's gold. Beautiful. And a Russian princess, the size of that. She's looking very grumpy considering all what I just said. She needs to pick it up a bit. I think these are druids, but they have a load of Solomon sigils all over them, casting spells as they go, these old men, but they got long beards. You see long beards, like Gandalf interact as well with the ether, as well as long hair. An Armenian nun, really? Okay. She's doing the old Freemasonic hand sign. Fake background. Very unusual picture that, but again, same long Tatarian silks. Nice colour burgundy. I think we already seen that one. Okay. Again with the jewels, infinite pearls. Just the value is just, oh, I can't even imagine. And look at this. Belonging to one of the horde, I would say. There's an amber there. I wonder if there's an insect trapped in it. I used to have amber with an insect trapped in it. And jewels, gold, all of it's gold. I bet that feels lovely. I don't know what animals that's from, but it looks like fox. They used to have fox furs back in the 1920s. Women used to wear them. What a revolting thought! And they look dire. I don't know why they did that. So Dutch ladies used to wear these until the late 1800s, but they weren't allowed to do it after that apparently. But you can see them in the modern day exhibiting these spring earrings and this metal cranium cover or gold cranium cover. Here's a beautiful Tatarian exhibiting all of that. Unbelievable. Can you imagine a society where everybody looked like this and knew about, how to live, how to expand your consciousness, grow in this place? She looks serene. In fact, they all do, really. She's got like a ruff, like, a ruff they wear on their neck, but she's got a version on her head. And I think that what they do, guys, is they imitate in the insect world, actually, bumblebees. They copy bumblebees in clothing. You'll see this with the Middle Ages and antiquitech. This looks like a church and or the top of a bell style with two Tauruses. I bet you there's 1 year, 4 angel technology, center bit, reaching up into the ether. And it looks like she's playing with a bit of snot. I might be wrong there. So this is what they look like. That's what I envision, a world of beauty. And everyone looking like that. Instead of them god awful clothes that they wear in the modern day, which is every man in the world is wearing exactly the same t-shirt, I've noticed. And yoga bottoms. Apparently, everyone in the world's wearing them too. So there's that. This is what happens if you let a growth get out of hand. Alternatively, it's an unbelievable happy hat, especially if it's happy. Here are some nobles. We have a ginger lady who looks like she may be smoking the OG or something or other. He's happy. Look at his face, all happy, and there he is. He's got the herb. She's got a contract going, but the silks, the money, the crownage, the jewels. There's a billion on them right there. But it's not just about the money and the expense. It is a technology. Look at this weird looking one. Giant belt, all chains hanging off it, all interacting with the environment. God. And she's got the Princess Leia. Oh, he. Maybe it's just maybe it's maybe it's just one of those cleft chins like Kirk Douglas, but it does look like it's got a bit of a tuft, admittedly. But they do get hairy, them Mediterranean women, don't they? All that olive oil, isn't it? And that's what will happen to you when you've got loads of jewels on you and on your happy hat. You will light up, just be lit like that man there, sparkly. So this lady, she's got a giant bow, but what the hell is she doing with this giant veil over her massive cranium thing? Why are they doing that? She looks like a bit of larvae for an insect, and these do as well, actually. Now I look at it, but she's got that thing covering her, the beads covering her forehead. But maybe she's got a giant cone head. Maybe there was the Akhenatans. The people here had a cone-shaped heads. So this lady's got that thing. She seems to be in charge. She's got a disc on her neck. That's interesting. How did she get it on? And it looks like one of those things you use, a squidgy for cleaning windows. Maybe she just like, she's one of those annoying people that cleans your windscreen at crossings. I don't want my windscreen. You want to actually wipe the bugs off your windscreen? No, I want you to fuck off. So here is the Russian aristocracy. There's $250 here, but don't worry, they're about to have you ripped off and by the Bolsheviks. Well, they'll spend it on exactly the same stuff. Here's a little Tsarina, a little princess. So beautiful stuff. And again, with this chainmail-like substance that covers the forehead and holds the crown in place. Definite, to my mind, technology. They've all got them. Mostly all. She looks a bit solemn, lover. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll get better. You're young. And then the mixture of old world hats that you see, the Romans and the classical era have these things with feathers on them, or plumes off of flamingos, if they're Roman, and other unusual shaped headwear. It all seems to have some sort of technology. So this is that Amazon lady. She's decidedly Caucasian, not very Amazonian at all, but maybe from Portuguese extraction. Oh no, maybe. But she's a giant. She's a whopper. But that is a fake hand because it has to be. It's not the same size as the other hand. But she was paraded round in the age of fakery. But she's definitely a big whopping girl. Here's a druid lady. Now she's got an idea that the Phoenician headwear with the Phoenician coverings on the ears and an antenna or some aerials going on is going to help her out with her psychic abilities. And lo and behold, she can remote view. She's got psychic abilities. Like you can see there, she looks wickedly psychic. And she's got a scepter. So basically, like an electrical cow prong for zapping people on the gonads. So she's thoughtful. What's she thinking? Oh, it's lovely, this clothing. Feels so good. I'll just sit here and absorb all of these beautiful energies that are. Maybe you get like a drug effect, like shivers and stuff. So look at these ladies here. Look at their headwear. Coins, coins, coins. Well, they're not exactly coins, are they? They're like discs, but with holes in them. Coins there, I can see. Little gold plates, all on their head. And the hair is super duper long as well. So there's a reason why they do this to us in the modern day, I would say, guys, is we don't have hats hardly anymore. We don't really. Everyone's wearing the same, looks the same, acts the same. But in the past, these two young Prussian kids have got all of this happy hat technology and look supremely happy and healthy, which you do not see in the modern day. So this is nothing to do with happy hats, but it always gives me a giggle. And this is a famous Turkish princess. Apparently, many men killed themselves when they asked to marry her, and she said, "No, no, I need Prince Charming." And it's a long, weird story, and I don't know why it's got a skirt on, but yeah, awesome. Nice, you know, here's another Dutch lady. She's got coils, look, that are like antennas that go up from her head by here. I can only imagine that they do unbelievable things with your thoughts. Some Tartar ladies having a fag out on the step, like you do, with their effifers and their coins. Yeah, smashing it, and they look fantastically healthy and lovely. And even the old world battle helmets. This one is, as you can see, Ottoman, but you can see beads, jewels covering the whole thing. Not just aesthetics, function. Also the ear coverings, not just so you don't get your ears chopped off. I noticed yesterday when I was going through my photographs, there's a lot of photographs of history of women being treated badly by men, I've noticed. Here is happy hats, but they're like top hats, aren't they? And this is the native court of justice. Looks like I can hear screaming. Looks like they are very scornful, and it looks like this is a young lady, and it looks like that he has a stick or a whip, and they can be very cruel, can't they? Very cruel. So I don't know. That's an unhappy little story there. I don't like that picture. These visited London once. They were shocked when they got to the concrete jungle of London. They came from Africa, obviously, you can see, and they have happy neck technology, which I can only imagine does actually do something apart from elongate the neck. They don't seem too much discomfort. They also have them on their legs, look, and even on their arms a little. I wonder what they're made of. And where would you buy that out in the jungle? It's got a little handle on it there. I don't like the thought of having a handle on the back of your neck. So here is in the modern day a Tatar giant or a Tibetan giant, but he's out on a step somewhere anyway, and he got a big flask of coffee going, and he's in them silks. So even in the modern day, they still wear these beautiful silks, and he's surely a giant. There's no doubt about that. And back into the past and in the Renaissance period or the 1500s, you can see that they are wearing the same beautiful silks as the Tartars. The noblemen have got feathers in their hats. They're wearing bee technology with the ruffs and the laces around the necks, just like a fly trap or a dream catch. It catches, as you can see. And the noble ladies with the ruffs, and they're wearing the veils and the lace over their heads with fantastical clothes, just fantastical, as you can see, which makes for a very beautiful world. This lady, she looks like she's got a bit of a face thing going on, but beautiful gold, just absolutely beautiful. Oh, dear God, I'm going to have to go back there. That was true. I'm very sorry, guys. Got away with me. There you are. So these are a load of theatre actors, but if you notice the hats on them, happy hats. Wizards wear pointy hats too, don't they? And I'm not sure if this is just cross head dressing of the past. You swap my hat, I'll swap yours. All right, love. Something like that going on. But he's got a fan thing going on, which is a bit weird. But they did wear these really, really strange wigs in the past, in what looks like the 1700s year. These are pearly kings and queens. They appoint themselves. They're all over London, and there's different boroughs got different pearly kings and queens, but they got their clothes are covered in sequins, little silver sequins, and their hats too. And they have the effifers going on the feathers as well. And that is the Cockney pearly kings and queens. And I've looked into the method for making hats in the past, and as I said, they mad as a hatter was a phrase because the people who were making velvet or velvet lining on top of Wellington hats, for example, did get brain damage, they say, from the mercury. But that is just what they say online, and it's just words, isn't it? Look at this helmet covering your face. How would you even walk? We wouldn't be able to. You'd flip it up when you was got a handle. But look at the antiquitech on the top, a little pointy thing that you see. Here is, oh dear. Well, this is Rasputin with the Tsarina, and he's saying, "Smell of my finger." Looks like he's got serpent eyes as well. You see that slit eye? It's quite frightening, isn't it? Okay. Imagine, this is weird, isn't it? This is in the past. Imagine telling your kids, "Where we going, Dad?" "Oh, we're going to dress as a snooker table and snooker ball, son. You're the white ball, you're the red ball. No, you're the black ball, you're the white ball." What? "Oh, don't worry about it. All will be explained when we get there, son." Oh, bleeding hell, here we go again. Scary. Aboriginal Chinese women first in China, and you got some of that on the old maps I've seen. Aboriginal, you can see that they are quite Chinese black looking, but they got all of these things on their head. Sorry about the grainy image. Samurai, ha! They are super soldiers, and what do super soldiers need? They need super clothes for super soldiers, and this is what they got. They got cool armor. I don't know what that black stuff is. That black steel, it looks amazing. They have spears, but they do have happy hats with aerials on them as well. Oh my god, I don't know. I think that's a mixture of flowers and happy coins and happy hat stuff. But yeah, guys, listen. Happy hats were massive business in the past. I think they should come back. FEB thinks, part of British Mountain League thinks the happy hats should come back. Oh, look at this. She's dead, actually, which means she's alive. Okay. But they say if you look at her for too long, yeah. No, I'm joking. She got a veil on. The dance of the seven veils. Ding, 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 ding. She's got them things on a card which may have words on it, which is attached to this, which is attached to maybe mercury balls. Imagine red mercury in them. I can only imagine. You know, they were at a higher state of consciousness anyway. I dig that just by looking at their clothes and had the production, yeah, compared to today, which has nothing in the fashion. Yeah, fucking baseball caps, sneakers. That's what the whole of the population of the world is getting, guys. None of this. None of this. Technology that's copied from the animal kingdom, like this. Wow, that is made of lace, obviously. I don't think she's hiding a cone out there. This is a form of tech because it's not aesthetically good looking. It is a tech. And she is covered. She's got a golden seat, beautiful materials. I'm not sure if she's geisha. And like horns or antlers, like we've been talking about, with bells and beads on, and a golden pyramided happy hat. God, I never knew there was so much information on happy hats, but there you go. Again, sequins they use with the Cockney pearly kings and queens. Beautiful little golden head covering, and the earrings, which I like earrings. Ooh, let's have a look. Doesn't blow up this way, but again, with the golden things hanging down and golden jewels on the solar plexus, the neck. I think it helps it all, you know. I'm not sure. He's got that same wedge. This looks like, you know, the thing you put over a teapot, tea cozy, but he's got that same disc on his head and that same wedge, you know, like a squidgy thing windows with. You see Taiwanese women doing them dances with them antiquitech devices on their head. Look at that, though. They can't be pearls, can they? It looks like a temple, you know, Asian, Cambodian temple, Chinese temple. But the colors, I really dig the colors. There's not enough color in the world at the moment. So this lovely lady is wearing, she's striking a pose with the Phoenician headwear, which they've dug up out of the mud. They've seen these Phoenicians with these giant earpieces on, which could be, again, which looks very technological, doesn't it? Rather than decoration or ear muts. They look very technical. And there is the stone that was discovered. Excuse me, there is it. So this gent, he's got some bones around his neck, some shells covering his. See, I think these natural things definitely work like shells and stuff. Talked about it before, and he's got flower antennas. I'm not sure if that's a mirror, but all of that would work. This might be like, I don't know, a cheap knock-up version for what the posh people got, but still really works. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is Mantahari, but again with the beautiful gold and the clothes and the happy hat. So I'm not sure if these are actually half men and half coconut. It's difficult to say, but they are wearing a definite happy hat that is covering their whole head. And they can probably see because there's gaps in there, you see. So aesthetics, I don't think so. Technology, I think so. Beards, definite tech, just like the hair. This gentleman, he knew all about it because he's 195, maybe. People didn't even know how old they were in the past because that birthday thing, that's a psyop. That's to drive you into the grave. Every year, blow out another candle, predictively program. Oh, I'm 53, I'm 58, I'm 59. I should act this way. I should do this. When you don't have to, you can just not listen to any of it and just think, well, I'll just stay youthful and not do any of that, what they say. Here is Queen Mary. She's got a beautiful crown on. And what the elites all got is a squillion jewels and pearls. Oh, a happy beard. And his touches the floor. Really bad if you go. Well, they didn't have dog shit all over the pavements in the past, I don't think, guys. So he would have been absolutely fine. But imagine what that does. We don't know. I don't know because I've never had a beard. I can't have one because I can't stand growing hair on my face. It itches. Covers the whole cranium. This is the back of the head, by the way. It is ancient, as you can see, full of jewels, like a netting, if you like, crocheted netting, if you like. Look at these cats getting down. Look how healthy he looks. He looks proper baked. Check out his happy hats, his little dreadlocks. You got little dreadlocks with beads on. Tech again, especially if they're seashell beads. And they're tugging away on a hooker. And I don't mean a prostitute. Look at this. She got the double rough fan antenna, which looks like a satellite dish, doesn't it, on her head? It's really pretty. Beautiful clothes. But again, when they have this rustic environment and they dress, imagine the woman stepping out of the house looking like that. Blow your head off. Yeah? Fucking hell. She looked like that. Yeah, in this day and age, they look like they wear all tracksuit bottoms hanging off their ass and look like Sean fucking Ryder. It's terrible. Oh, oh no, the eagle hasn't been invented yet. Look at this. Now, is that a happy hat? Well, possibly. It's got an all-seeing eye and a death's head squadron. So that is Mackinson. General Field Marshal von Mackinson. They named a beer after him. He's won a Iron Cross. And the North American Indians. This guy's a whopper. He's got a shillelagh in his hand, which is very Irish weapon. Looks like a shillelagh. And he looks bloody Irish too. He doesn't look very Indian, but he's a whopper and he's dressed in chieftain headdress. Now, chieftains, they have different headdresses for different rituals that they do, the North American Indians, different headdress for different tribal members as well. Bam, with the coins covering the temple, the earrings, the whole thing covering you. Her eyes look all misty. I don't know if she's crying or she looks very, very lucid, doesn't she? Like she knows stuff. Here's little Willie, who is Wilhelm, German, and he's got a bit of antiquitech on his head. Don't think it's a weapon. I think it's a tech. Maybe old battlefields, intercom tech. And reliquaries, they're crazy. Some of them have left the crowns on from the reliquary days. We got a face covering here of the Jesuits in red velvet, but encrusted with jewels. and they leave the crown on a lot of these reliquaries. I don't know which saint that is, but it's a saint under there, believe it or not. Look at this. Joes of coats of many colours. These are Egyptian. As you can see, it looks like the eagle's wings. So the Egyptians, 100%, had technology too. Feathers, efifas, interacting. Wow. Mind blowing, that image. And God. I God. Hey, Martin. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm going to complain. Carry on. Oh, thanks, God. Oh, that's so different to what I usually get. You can see he's got a pyramid, ever decreasing with jewels, like a tech on his head. All the jewels, everything going on. And that's God. He's watching Flat Earth British. It's his favourite programme, he said. Excuse me, I don't like when that happens. So, yeah, we got this guy here, okay, Roy Albion, who is looking like probably a black man. Roy Albion is got Ephesus, and this lady from the medieval period, she's got horns, or this is a crazy technology that is holding the lace in place, if you like. Just craziness. I don't think they all got horns and cone heads. And there's the papal hat and the crook as well, the shepherd's crook with the Taurus, the toroidal on the top. And this, she's got like a he or she has got like a blonde dye, but they got the disc. They're lit. They're lit. Strange walking stick. Doesn't seem very old to have a walking stick, so I think it might be something else. And there's the women of the old world. Rosicrucianists do it, growing their hair to the ground because they say it helps with communication, psychic abilities, and a whole list of benefits. None of them negative. And this is why we haven't all got long hair. This is why they make all of the women just, paint nails, paint their face, do their eyebrows, stick some sort of car pump appendage on their lips and pump them up, and all these different things to make them non-natural and ugly and have no nice clothes on them whatsoever. Yeah, I don't think the clothes what them women are wearing in nightclubs these days have anything to do with fashion. This is fashion. Look, I'm not sure she's got a cone head in there, but this is a technology. And this looks like an aerial. I imagine if you run into somebody with your head down, that would be really hazardous to their health. But again, it's like the trident, isn't it? It's like the tuning forks, vibrational. I think it's all world technologies. There's some lovely ladies walking in the streets of Marshall in Texas. And the ladies of the old world wear bonnets. The kids, all the children are wearing hats. The little girls, the little boys, everybody is wearing hats in the old world. And as you can see here in the old world, I don't know why there's a big gap there, like a mouth, for this guy who's got a happy wig on. And he seems to be really happy with his happy wig, Mr. Marconi. Just like the Dutch ladies in this painting, exactly the same golden cranium cover with the silver plates and the dangly bits, exactly like the Dutch women in this old painting. And these ladies are doing the same Princess Leia thing with the hair either side rolled into a torus, just deer into the Taurus field, Taurus field in this place. And again, something that we don't do. Some women braid their hair, don't they? And put like my edge is naturally curly, naturally kinks up because it's deer into the. Depends on what air environment. If I'm by the sea, my hair goes really freaking curly. So here's a load of chicks. I'm not sure about this guy here with unbelievably long hair. Not sure about that one either. Oh, actually, any of them. Oh dear, dear, dear. But they have super duper long hair. You see the waves in the hair, the wave function, the waveform. You're into the Taurus of this place. Here's another happy techno helmet of Technasmia, or antiquitech as we know it. Just like the top of a building. And the North American Indians, which he doesn't look very red Indian-y to me. He looks a bit Western. But again, they got the headdress on with the feathers. And a lot of things like, the other places have as well. The headdresses, the beads, and the chest beads, which you see in Tataria. And all of the kings and queens. Very Phoenician. You see the ladies in the background, they look super Phoenician. The priests as well, with all of that Phoenician stuff going on, and the queen with the orb, the scepter, and this crown which weighs a ton, which has the African star, the biggest diamond in the world, and other a jewel on it that was worn on the crown of Henry at Agincourt is on that crown, and the French Revolution, and you see this in a lot of alchemical allegory, is the Parisian hat, which has the red, white, and blue, just like on the American flag, and liberty, a nation of liberty, after they executed all of the hierarchy. But the Parisian hat, I've covered Frisia, the area in the past, and here in the Philippines, again, with the beads and the aerials, if you like, or the antlers from natural environment for animals. And she's got that same disc head wear on there as well. Okay, and this is poor old Queen Elizabeth I. God, you sure he's not a Huguenot? Ginger, very high hairline, I would say. And she was Welsh, or he was Welsh. Virgin King, never had any kids. Well, you can if you're a bloke. And happy hat. And bee technology, just like bees' wings, made of pure lace. It looks exactly like bees' wings as well, which I've covered in the past on my bee tech video. So that'll be more or less it for this video. We've been talking about happy hats. Let me know what you think in the chat. I enjoyed showing them images, and I've enjoyed being here today to keep you company. So I'm going to be back in the very near future. Make sure to catch up with all things flatearthbritish. There are links down below to all of these events that are all up and coming this summer. There's plenty to look forward to if you want to get out and about in the environment and meet some truthers. So that's me. I'll see you on the next one. Flat thumbs.